first selection of tracks. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and support the Patreon page if you like the show. Enjoy.
All right, guys. What is going on? What is good? What is good? It is Tuesday, December the 5th. All right, Taco Tuesday, if you will. And the markets are moving. Know what I'm saying? The markets are moving. What's going on, Naruto, Lucas, Max, Andreas, Eli, Felix, 2020, George, Nikki, Vadu? What up? What up? What up? What up? You know, it's been a mixed day. It's been a mixed day. If we start off with Dow, our weakest of the indices today, you know, I looked this morning, and what was it? Yesterday in the afternoon, we ended up leaving equal highs right there, just below the equal highs from the alert that we set in case it happened to get there yesterday, in which it didn't, of course. We took out Monday's low, but the reaction has been very, very weak. Very weak. I mean, it came all the way back down to the low, came off of it, all the way back down here again, and then now we're just in, you know, near the open almost. So to me, if you had long the Dow today, it's probably been a little bit mundane, a little bit around your entry, not really going in one direction for too long. Now with the Nasdaq, our strongest index today, at least up to right now, we had a beautiful consolidation. We traded higher, ended up forming like a mitigation play here. What was that? Like at 10.25, and we stuck around that for a long time. What's good, Willow? And like, to me, if like say we were short from here, and you know, lunch hour doesn't really do a whole lot, it gives us a little bit of downside, and then we're right back up again. It's almost like we swept this low. It's like, I do not care for that. Like, I really don't care for when price meanders around an area that I'm expecting to see, you know, bullish or bearish, whatever. So I think if we're going to take the lows, if we're going to run this consolidation, I don't want to see us, you know, spend a lot of time in premiums or in like a premium range. Okay? Like, if we have the lows up to that high, we consolidated right around that 50%. That's not a surprise, because you guys know generally when consolidations form, right, where they form around midpoints. And so you do see that here. And this mitigation that's in this measured premium, it spends a lot of time there. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I get very impatient. And that is one of the flaws that I have. All right, I'm just impatient. Was good, Alex? A different Alex, I think. Or no, that's the first Alex today. Sorry. S&P, similar scenario, but slightly different. Where's our high at today? 45, 84, maybe 85, 85 and a half. Well, why is that important? Well, because that's what we talked about yesterday, actually. We talked about that as a potential up. Did we not? Right here? That gap right here was above, I think these highs that it could reach for, it didn't. It just took those highs and then went lower. So how far can price go above a high? You guys know, imbalance or gap. And that's where we're at currently, where we consolidated just like Nasdaq, only we left equal lows, rallied, retraced, there's an imbalance right here. And then we rallied and extended for that gap. On a 5-minute and 15-minute, we respected that gap. Massive sell-off, makes a new low. It almost looks like a sweep, kind of. Trades into this is actually an inverse, but it didn't really respect it at first, but it's still respecting like the flip side, the other side. So personally, I thought we were going to get into this lack of wick here. We still might be able to do that, but I'm overall fairly bearish for the S&P and bearish for the Nasdaq today. Can we trade higher? Yes. I, however, think probabilities is lower. But look what we've done for like 2 hours. I mean, we had great directional movement in the morning. The first hour and a half of the exchange, we had beautiful upside movement. And then we just dropped lower, rallied, made a new low, rallied, small time frame equal highs, traded lower, a new low, and then now we're kind of just back near, I believe this is probably 50% of the range from the lows up to that high, just like Nasdaq. And price literally is meandering right around that 50% at 45.70, 70 and a half. So I hate when price is like right there, because you know, what are we supposed to do with that? What are you supposed to do with that? You know? So probabilities to me is downside. But again, we do have small time frame equal highs right here at 43.74. And then we had this lack of wick up here as well from that original sell-off from the gap. And I think that can be seen additionally on the 15-minute. So we could trade back up into the high 70s. Am I going to long? Not with equal lows. Am I going to short? Probably not with equal highs here on small time frame. So I'm going to have to wait for some more information. But that's kind of where my head is at today. I think that prolonged consolidation on Nasdaq, I don't think that's going to stay there. I mean, it could. Again, don't get me wrong, guys. I can always be wrong. We could end up trading higher and clearing out these small time frame highs. We could still do that. But price has broken down. We have, in my opinion, we definitely have sell stops below here. Anyone who's long is going to have sell stops, you know, at their entry or below the consolidation. Then they're going to have those an additional sell stops for trying to break out to catch it going lower. So to me, it just would make sense, no pun intended, for us to get below, I don't know, 15,750. And then S&P, the 50s, 45.50 could probably be on the table. But as I mentioned on Monday, yesterday, right? What we talk about in terms of volatility? December, my expectations are lowered. I don't expect super large moves. And if you even look at yesterday, remember this, what did we do yesterday? We talked about this right here, right? This imbalance here, that inverted imbalance, also inside of that larger mitigation. I said if we respect that, I think we could go higher. And so what happens? Well, we trade into that, off of it. We do consolidate for a little while. And then at the last hour, the final hour, we end up trading and making a new high by clearing out these two highs just before the close. But look how we did that. I mean, we did that so it was just so lethargic. It spent an hour and a half around the 68 level before, trading up like maybe 10 points. So like, $500 a contract here. And so, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying about lowering the expectations. We ended up taking the high, but then we just don't go to this gap. You know what I mean? And then today, on a 15-minute, you look at this. What the fuck? What is this on a 15-minute time frame? So we went over Nasdaq, prolonged consolidation as well as low resistant lows. The S&P has equal lows, and then our current high today is that gap that we talked about yesterday. So I just find that to be interesting, and I find that to be worth studying. Why is the price towards a missing wick? Because of one-sided price delivery. Yeah, to be honest, I'm not really sure where that came from or who that came from. I don't remember, but I just know that if you study price long enough, and I'm sure it happens in the FX markets as well, especially on the future side, but you will see price action that's like that, where if you have a significant imbalance, or there's got to be some other confluence, of course, too, but it's like those lack of wicks end up, not every single one of them, if you measure like every single one, it's not going to work. Like there's one right there. I'm sure we can find a lot of candles that don't have wicks on them, especially during London, but there's got to be other factors here. Like, okay, so we're at 45.72. There's equal highs right here at 74. And then there's this, it's a intermediate term high here. Okay, at 45.76.5. So just above that is that lack of wick. So like, to me, that would have been an ideal entry in the morning to go lower. So to me, it looks like, price sold off. I don't know. It's like 80% maybe. It looks as if it's shown a willingness to trade below these lows. But since we're in consolidation, one of the qualities of a consolidating market is to run stops. So again, that's why I'm pointing out these highs at 74 and that particular high at 76.5, because this could easily run those. And if today is going to be bearish in the afternoon, it'll run those and then rip everyone a new face going lower. Okay, I just figured we might have done that in the morning and not spend so much time here. Okay, like Nasdaq, same thing. Just, it doesn't have that lack of wick. There's an imbalance that is above this high, but that ends up being above this mitigation as well. So, I don't know. I want to be bearish. I want to be bearish because of Nasdaq and S&P having lows, but there's just a little bit of confliction with Dow because we made a new low and Dow actually has upside objectives. So, what do you do? Probably just wait, honestly. Probably just wait for more information. And that's why I'm saying we might run these highs, drop down, retrace, and then run for the lows. That's what I'm thinking. We're going to take that off, and we're going to put this lack of wick right there as well. So yeah, if we trade up into this and spend time here, like if we hit this and then don't reject lower, we're probably going to go higher and just leave these lows open. NQ coming from a 1 hour imbalance makes me think it's going up. The case can be made for either side. Right, Jada. So if you can justify a long and if you can justify a short, then what do you do? For me, the answer is to wait. The answer is to wait for more information. So it looks like we just hit those equal highs here on that 1 minute time frame. Ooh, I did not charge my phone either. So we have a new high. Well, it's a high on S&P. And then we just don't even have the same highs on Nasdaq there. So I don't know. I do not know, my friends. Yeah, do nothing, right? Even if, and that's the thing, man, like even if you're inclined to believe one thing over another, and like let's say you can justify longs and shorts, but your gut is telling you to long, and then you come back later and that market has rallied, you know, then it becomes an internal battle of, well, I was bullish but I didn't long, you know, and then you have to deal with that. Like you have to be okay with that, you know? So, but yeah, like me personally, I'm telling you, I want to be bearish for this afternoon. And I want to see what we do if we hit the 77.25 level. But yeah, even if we trade up here and then continue higher, I personally, myself, I cannot justify a long when there's literally equal lows at 45.55. Like I can't justify that. So when I study charts and when I look at this, you know, obviously I'm going to go, okay, well, late lunch swept the low and then rallied, and let's say it makes a new high of the day. You know, I look at that and I go, okay, how can I capitalize on that? And I look at this and I go, I can't, because one of my rules is to not long when there's equal lows, you know? If you look at the 4-hour time frame on Nasdaq, it's in a range and looks like it could push up a bit to find the 50% of that range to close in low volatility for the daily candle. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, I don't really look at a 4-hour, to be honest with you, but liquidity above these highs would technically be in a premium. Oh shit, you know what? We are coming off of an old low as well. That's another thing too. That consolidation and equal lows is also below that old low. So that's why I'm saying we're coming off of that, right? And so to me, we could end up trading higher. But again, I'm not going to long when there's consolidation here. I'd rather just wait. So that's just me. That is just me. But I tell you what, I don't know if we're going to get way up here for Dow today, but if we end up making new highs today, even though Dow is our laggard, this may end up trading to 36,300 and above that. But this just looks so bad. This just looks so sloppy to me today. It just looks so sloppy. But anyway, we'll get this a few candles to print and then go from there. Index ETF have gaps that weren't completely filled. Yeah, that's another thing too, Eli. You're right. Gaps on ETFs, they honestly, they can be tricky because sometimes they do fill, sometimes they only fill halfway, and then sometimes they're left open. So there are definitely other factors that go into it. So you got to scroll through Nasdaq futures, triple Qs, ES, SPY, YM, Dow Jones, ETF. NFPs tomorrow. If these are left open, I would be surprised if we didn't take that for NFP. I would be surprised. ADP non-farm employment change at 7:15. I will be asleep at that time. And then overnight rate for CAD, yuck. Unemployment claims on Thursday for the US dollar, and then NFP on Friday, December the 8th, which is the same day that I'm going to pick up any mail that I may or may not have. So that'll be cool. And I like how they do those in the mornings. So I never, enter a trade prior to that and then get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Why do you have treasury bonds? These are actually I think these are the wrong treasury bonds. I don't think we're in the December contract anymore for those. There's, maybe I didn't put this on YouTube. There's a video I did a long time ago that I explained the relationship between dollar and treasury bonds, and yeah. So, but to be honest, I really haven't looked at it in a while, but I'm not going to take it off my list. It's sentimental, It's sentimental. Ugh. Came right back to the low end of that mitigation. See, I would be so bothered if I was short from up here. I mean, a new low's a partial, yeah, and then like, bam, right back up to fucking break even. Nice. I hate that. What else did we talk about yesterday? We'll come back to this. We talked about, I think, the euro and British pound trading lower. Or no, that was Aussie and Kiwi, wasn't it? Or am I tripping? Yeah. We talked about these lows in here. And it had just taken this low, and I said we might as well take these other lows. And that was like, a whopping 30 pips ago. So that's cool, I guess. But decent sell-off on New Zealand and a much stronger sell-off on Australian dollar. And for whatever reason, I marked up 65.85. I think that's just small time frame, equal highs, but this looks like shit to me as well. So I'm not even going to bother with that. But they are both lower. And see, this is what I'm saying. This is what I was trying to basically explain about the indices. You see how Australian dollar trades above this high, drops down, it rallies a little bit, and then it runs, consolidates a little bit, and then runs for this low. Right? Strong down movement, small up movement. Strong down movement, small up movement, strong down movement. That is a beautiful bearish market. New Zealand, similar story. Right? Trades lower, Sunday's gap, trades lower, small retracement, and then continues lower. That is a nice, clean, bearish market. That is what I want to see on the indices today for the afternoon. But it looks like we have liquidity that needed to be tapped into first. But yeah, overall today just looks very nasty. Very nasty. Today's a good day to go do some Christmas shopping, if that's what you're into. I celebrate Christmas, so I would say, yeah, screw this. I am going shopping, or at least shopping online, and not worry about, this. If you trade just the indices, would you print all three of them for the journal, or just the one that, I'm assuming you meant to say that you traded? Well, that's the thing, man. Your journal can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. In a lot of the cases, if there is, well, which is pretty much the majority of like all of the cases, if there's a divergence between the indices, for example, like if I'm looking for, let's say there was a divergence up here. If I print off ES, I will mark it if I don't print off like a second line chart behind it. I'll go S&P made a higher high, and let's say Nasdaq made a lower low. I'll say, I'll put a line here, and I'll say divergence X Nasdaq weakness. And so I know that means there's a lower high on Nasdaq. Or I'll just mark this up as distribution above an old high. Because I know what that means. But when you first get into printing or journaling, I would probably be a little bit more detailed. Jade is getting my book for Christmas. Nice. Very nice. Have you ever back tested the last financial crisis? How does day trading behave there? Oh, day trading in a crisis like that is very unnerving and very, very, I have never experienced more emotional roller coasters than that. So much so, I would rather just not trade it. Oh my, especially futures. Oh no, heavens no. The volatility gets so insane. I remember a couple years ago, they were even, what is it called? The circuit breakers, where the markets would hit such a level of volatility, the stock market would shut down 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, and then resume trading later. I do not want to trade a market like that, especially if it can gap against you. Because futures are no game, dude. Are no game. Like S&P is $50 a point. Okay? 1 point is $50. So you get a 10-point move, that's $500, right? It was gapping 10, 15 points. So you're talking about just hundreds of dollars in seconds, and in an environment like that, it can easily go into the thousands a lot faster than you think. Now you might think in the beginning like, oh, well, that's great. I want to make thousands of dollars in a few minutes. Well, yeah, until it goes the other way, or you get slipped. And then you thought you were going to lose, say, 200 or 300, and you lose 7. And you go, oh my God. It's very nerve-wracking, bro. Sure, you could do micros if you want. You cool off a little bit, but it's just, man, nothing will test your emotions like day trading a fucking crisis like that. Mouse is all sweaty. Mouse pads all turn a different color because you've been sweating so much. It's crazy. I need some book advice. What top 3 books would you give your dad for Christmas? I'm thinking of buying my dad a book. Well, I think there's a few factors that go into that. Number 1, does your dad even read? Because I've bought books for people, and I'm like, it's been 6 months. What have you thought about this book? They haven't fucking read it. So number 1, you need to find out if your dad is a reader. If he is, great. also a belief system comes into it as well. So, like, I'm not trying to say the wrong thing here, but I'll put it to you this way. People of a certain belief don't like to get material outside of their belief system, okay? Because if you have a major, if you believe in a major religion, one of the major world religions, okay, and then somebody brings you a book of a different religion, that's not going to go well majority of the time. They usually would take it as a good gesture, like, oh, I appreciate it, thank you, whatever. But on the inside, they're like, why the fuck did you get me this? You know? So that plays a factor in it as well. But one thing that I do like about Ryan Holiday's work is the chapters are short and sweet. And sure, he's mentioned like Buddhism, he's mentioned Christianity, he's mentioned, you know, certain other beliefs, okay? And that's fine. But the majority of it is like not, there's no religious connotations, okay? So those aren't bad. So some of the Stoics, for example, you know, they believed in God or gods, right? And that like that's one thing that is hard for me to get books for other people, because if you, what is it called, monotheistic, I don't know, where you believe in one God, right? Well, if you bring somebody a book and it's like, hey, read this, and they write about multiple gods, you know, they might get offended, you know? But it's like, okay, if you can look past that and actually look at the content, like what's actually written in there, you know, then it's fine. So there are just, again, there are many factors that go into it. But I would do any book from Ryan Holiday. Stillness is the Key is usually the best one, that at least from the feedback that I get. His living room is a library. He's into philosophy. Oh. But what does that mean, though? Because there are different types of philosophy. A lot. Just like religion. Like you could be religious and have hundreds of religions. It's the same thing with philosophy. That's why, like, this community is not smart money philosophers. It's smart money Stoics, because it's Stoic philosophy, not Epicureanism, Zenoism, anything with ism in it other than Stoicism. Because it's the three predominant most famous Stoics: Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. Relationship over religion. No, I understand, Willow. I definitely understand. But that's one thing that I have to consider as well, like when getting books for other people. Because, like, dude, I have so many, and I don't remember, you know, if there's something in there that's gonna offend somebody. I'm like, bro, if there's 300 pages in this book and you found one or two sentences offensive, okay, take a fucking pencil or pen, you know, cross it out, and then, you know, take everything else. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what I think. Would I trade during an ongoing financial crisis? Probably not anything, unless I'm already in something. Like if we're short and there's a crisis and markets are trading lower, then why would we, you know, get out? But like right now, I'm not doing too much in December because I'm not trying to fuck up November. November was a solid month, and I'm not trying to screw that up. You know, I want to end the year off strong. I don't want to end the year off going, man, gave back some of November, man. Can't do that. I mean, you could, but I don't want to do that. And we'll revisit in January. You know what I mean? Revisit in January. You know, we usually talk about how rough Dow Jones is, bro. This gotta be one of the worst days I've seen in a minute. I mean, bro. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. New low, high swept, short-term low, short-term low. Consolidation. Ugh. Gross. So gross. All right. Oh my God. It's already been 40 minutes. If we don't get any volatility, I'm assuming that final hour is going to make its move either higher or lower. Unless we just consolidate all day. We could do that too. And part of me thinks that if I'm bearish and we're just spending a lot of time not going lower, then that means I'm probably wrong, my friend. It means I'm probably wrong. How do you spell Wick? Is it W-I-C-K? I think so. Seller, not a speller, baby. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Lucas. I mean, it's usually best not to in heightened volatility. Like a crisis like that, it's usually best not to. Or at least downsize. Either downsize the leverage or you know, take like a portion of your account and then put that into a separate account. Like that's, you know, reducing risk to a degree. But would I be trading like a main account or trading my largest account in a financial crisis? Probably not. Lee Bright, it's all good, man. It's all good. Michelle asks, when you first got into trading, what were your daily habits to become a better trader? Well, when I first started trading, my daily habits were trash. I mean, I was in the military, so I got up early all the time. Got addicted to energy drinks. So, you know, thank you, Uncle Sam. Appreciate it. And it wasn't until like when I got into Forex, because I started off in stocks. But when I got into Forex and like the day trading side, because like back then I didn't even know really that there was 1 minute, 5 minute charts and stuff. I always stuck to like the daily and the 1 hour, and I never really explored below that. And then, you know, you start getting introduced in like you get introduced to how the markets actually work, you know, manipulation, stop runs, and all this other, you know, things that you guys learn about. And you go, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. And then you realize that, and I'm sure you guys go through this too. You realize what an imbalance is. So you start thinking that everything is an imbalance. Like every 3 candle formation is an imbalance. And then you realize that sometimes they work and then other times they just don't. And you're like, oh, what the fuck? And, you know, that's when you got to, or that's when you realize there's more to it than that. And in order to really focus, you got to study, and then you got to become disciplined. Right? If you're not disciplined in your personal life or your work life and pretty much everywhere else, then you're not going to be disciplined in your trading. And once you make that connection, you go, okay, well, I got to change, or my trading's not going to improve, or my finances or my relationships aren't going to improve. So studying was a big habit. I did backtest a lot back then. I think what helped me out the most was not backtesting myself, but backtesting with friends. Because every once in a while I'll tell you guys like, hey, you know, I learned from this guy or from a friend of mine, right? Who, you know, some of them don't want to be known out there, so I don't put their names out there. But like people I've studied with, you know, they taught me things, I taught them things, and there's a lot of breakthroughs when you connect with others, even if you walk away and they only teach you one or two things, you know, then it's like, oh, you know, this person, they know what they're doing, like, you know, that's where I got these lines from. I don't know if you guys can see them. You might be able to. There's really faint gray lines on here. You know, that's a measuring tool that I use. I can measure points. I can measure profit if I wanted to, which I try not to do because you're not supposed to do that. According to Mark Douglas. You know, the orange box, you know, for mitigation, that color I got from a friend of mine. You know, that's where a lot of these things come from. I didn't learn from just one guy or one woman or one course, right? And those kind of habits is, you know, over a long period of time. Then you just submit to time. Try not to become successful by next month or, you know, 2024. It might take you to 2025. It might take you to 2026. I don't know. Lee Bright has 4 friends. We do the same every Sunday. Yeah, that's my point. That's my point. That's why we have a Discord. That's why we have a community. That's why there's a lounge, my friends. There is a lounge. So you guys, you know, oh, I don't have a Zoom. I don't have a, well, you guys don't know about Google Hangouts probably. That was old school. But John shorted UJ today. That pair is, I haven't even looked at UJ. UJ hadn't even crossed my mind, bro. That's how out of sight, out of mind that shit is. But anyway, back to my point, my mid rant. The lounge, that's what the lounge is for. So you guys can hang out. You can share your, I'm pretty sure you can share your screen. You can talk to each other. There's over 100 and, I forgot the number. There's over 100 of you that's in there. That's what that's for. So you guys can connect, you know, do shit. Don't write that down, but you get what I'm getting at. What the fuck? What is this? This isn't even like that strong of a reaction either from those highs. Oh God. Anyway, what's good, Trillionaire? We studied opening gap on ETFs and the true imbalance last 2 Sundays. Very, very nice. What'd you learn? Broke my ankle on Thanksgiving. Ouch. Time to up it on the charts. I agree, Michelle. How do you get into the lounge? If you're in the Discord, it is at the bottom. There's 2 voice channels, the stream and the lounge. You guys should have access to it because we've been in there before. We've been in there before. I need to go outside, dude. I think that's what's bothering me is why I need some sunlight. I feel like a fucking vampire right now. Are there more or less fixed dates when an exchange takes place at the lounge? No. You can go in the lounge whenever you want. Think of the lounge like a break room at work, where most people go to like skip their fucking job. But not that. Don't skip your job to be in my lounge, in our lounge. You know, go there to meet up with everybody. You know, like who was it? Zay, for example. Fuck, Zay just got funded. So see if Zay wants to go in the lounge and be like, yeah, this was the trade that got me funded. I shorted because of this, or I longed because of that. TP was this because of that. I mean, if they don't want to, they don't want to, you know, but if there's 100 of you plus in there, I'm sure 2 or more of you can come together and get it together. Okay? I'm sure it's possible. Honestly, I think in 2024 we're just going to delete the Dow off the list and say good fucking riddance. Goodbye. You know what I mean? This shit is ridiculous. So there's the afternoon in a time window. And then there's your final hour. So this is kind of how I'm looking at it. The less time we spend not going lower is what leads me to believe that I might be wrong and we could end up trading higher. Okay? My grandma's birthday today. We're going to Top Golf, but later today or tomorrow is cool. Well, there you go. Zay offered on their own to go teach you some things in a lounge after Gmal's birthday. How old's your grandma? Don't be scared. Don't be scared, show you there. 84. Sheesh. That's awesome. That is awesome. Anyway, I don't have anything else for you guys. I have no idea what we're going to do. Part of me thinks that lack of wick. Part of me thinks the lows. Nasdaq, same thing. Part of me thinks these highs. Part of me thinks that consolidation here. And us spending so much time at this 50% is bothersome. It is bothersome. But I mean, all right. So whatever happens, I still think today's a pretty solid study. Meaning the short-term low or high, sorry. The high from yesterday, right? And then our current high of the day, that gap, I would put that, if you're going to print off a chart or study something, I would put that in there. Okay? I mean, it's not every day that, you know, we look for a level and then the next day it happens to be the low or it happens to be the high. There's a reason I pointed that gap out yesterday. There's a reason that bitch is our high of the day. Okay? Now, I didn't think that would happen today. I didn't say, oh yeah, we're going to long up to the gap. I didn't say that. I'm just saying, is it not worth studying? You know? I think it is. What's the temp where I'm at? 65 is what the computer tells me. So 68 according to my phone. But I have a hoodie on because I'm inside. So I'm not wearing this outside. The more relationships you make, the more money you make. Well, as long as you're hanging around people who know what they're doing with money, yeah. You're welcome, Michelle. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. I really don't see a reason to continue watching this bullshit. We've been here an hour and we really haven't gone out of this range. And this is looking less and less like a stop run. So we're just going to end it here. All right. So be blessed. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll put out whatever happens here. I'll put out a market review later tonight because today is Tuesday, which means all of the members here get a market review today and then again on Thursday as well. All right. So y'all be good, man. I will see you tomorrow.
So much time wondering where I've been. Don't you understand what I have been doing? You're making this hard for me to do my own thing. Time is running out. I feel like I'm just losing. I need to go now, and I